What up, UFC T-Dot breakdowns? Gonna run down UFC 271, top to bottom, bottom to top. Start off with the early prelims. Gonna kind of go over every fight. I took some pretty extensive notes this week, so I think I'm actually gonna read the majority of the stuff I wrote. So first up, we had William Knight versus Paul Felder. This dude, Maxine Grisham. He looks like a giant Paul Felder. William Knight came in freaking 13 pounds overweight. He's already humongous. He came in here extra humongous. Literally, he came in big. Maxine Grisham just controlled the distance and just kickboxed him up. It was a really good fight for Maxine Grisham, not for William Knight so much. Grisham really, it really looks like Paul Felder. And it was like his 43rd fight or something like this. Like, this guy's been around forever. Next up, we had Jeremiah Wells versus Mike Methea, but he has officially changed his name, I guess, to just Blood Diamond. And I'm not sure if that's like his legal name or if this is what he wants to be called in the UFC, but he's just Blood Diamond. They were really hyping him up. They were like, Izzy Adesanya was here for this fight at the early prelims because he supports this guy and they're training partners. With that being said, just remember that they said Izzy was there for the early prelims. Just remember that. All right, so Jeremiah Wells was just a better mixed martial artist. Like, Blood Diamond may have been a better kickboxer, but he didn't give him the opportunity to kickbox, really. And he submitted him. Yeah, Douglas Da Silva Andrade versus Sergey Morozov. And both of these dudes are like killers. And like the Silva de Andrade dude, man, like literally cut out of stone, this guy. Like, I don't know how he could even stop eating for the fight because he has no fat in his body. And it's like, isn't your body just eating muscle perpetually at this point? Like, how are you keeping up? He's got to just be constantly eating to be that. He's just got to, his whole life has to just be working out and eating. That's it. There's no time for anything else to be that ripped. It looks like he has -% body fat. That's Silva de Andrade. Anyways, man, it was a crazy fight. It was a good fight, man. Like, Morozov had him busted up real bad, split him open. He beat him up bad in the first round, and then but Silva de Andrade, he came back and like he at some point or in the second round he came back super ultra aggressive and just he beat him up, man. And then what was real crazy was like, this is like one of the very first early prelim matches, and I don't know if it was because DC just wasn't ready for it, he wasn't paying attention, but he let that dude talk for like 20 minutes, and he had a translator, and so like he was talking for so long. Like, what are you doing, DC? You're like, he just let him talk for so long, man. Like, Bisping cut him off quick. It don't matter what you do. This is prelims, bub. Da Silva Andrade won. Next you had AJ Dobson versus Jacob Malkoun. Also, man, like, this fight card was in Texas, so there was a lot of like Texas fighters, but there were so many New Zealand and Australian fighters. Like, I really think that this event was supposed to be in New Zealand or Australia, but it ended up getting canceled because of the restrictions and all that kind of stuff. Like, just because there's just so many fighters from either Australia or New Zealand on this card. Anyways, Jacob Malkoun, who's Australian, I believe, like, he just grinded that guy out. Like, there was just nothing he could do. AJ Dobson probably is a better striker and maybe could have won up there, but it didn't matter. Jacob Malkoun kind of mauled him. He kind of Khabib'd him, for lack of better words, and just won the fight. And then you had Mana Martinez versus Ronnie Lawrence, which is, oh wait, hold on, Da Silva de Andrade and what's his name, freaking Morozov. Like, yo, that dude did not tap out. He got put to sleep. Like, whoa, who goes out on a choke like that in the UFC in modern days? Like, tap, bro, tap. The fucking warriors like an Aztec versus a Mongol. is that is that inappropriate? Close enough. All right, we had Manny Martinez versus Ronnie Lawrence, which is a good fight, man. Manny Martinez, like I really like him. I think he's an amazing striker when he's on his game, and he's really fun to watch. Um, but Manny's got crazy heart too because Ronnie really was like he just was beating him everywhere. He was beating him on the ground. He was beating him in the wrestling exchanges. He was beating him on the feet, punching. Manny did have his moment though, where he like he had his moment, but it didn't matter. He lost. Ronnie won by decision. And then we went on to the preliminary card. To be honest with you, man, that Douglas Silva Deandrade versus Sergey I'm saying these names terrible. Sergey Morozov. Listen, man, you go to Google and type in UFC, and then just click UFC 271 in the red bar at the top because it's like Disney and ESPN. You click UFC 271 and then click early prelims, and it shows you all the matchups, who won and how they won, right? So when you do this, if you're listening to me, then you can read the names and see what they really are, not just the crazy, terrible mispronunciations I'm doing. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, on to the under the prelim card, there was a canceled fight between Alex Perez and Matthew Christopher Schnell. So Matt Schnell is really good. Alex Perez is really good. I'm not sure why it was canceled, but it is what it is. So starting off the early prelims at light heavyweight, we had Carlos Ulberg versus Fabio Charant. And I mean, Ulberg just really another guy that's from New Zealand or Australia. And I apologize for not knowing which one. I just note the flag. And when I see the flag, I'm not like, that's Australia, that's New Zealand. I just see that flag and I know what those two flags look like, and I just kind of am like, dang, and that's another one that's from one of those two places. And I get it. Izzy and Whittaker from Australia and New Zealand, and this is their card. That's why, right? And then the events in Texas, and the co-main event is Derek Lewis. So you got a lot of Texas people in there. Like that's not even the point I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is I really believe that this was supposed to be in Australia or New Zealand, because it makes sense for all those Texas people to be there. It doesn't necessarily make as much sense for all those Australian and New Zealand fighters to fight on a card in Houston. It's all conjecture. I don't know. I'm not invited to the meetings. All right. Ulberg looks like some sort of a supermodel or something. Like, he's beautiful. He's so pretty. He just controlled the distance, and there was just nothing that Fabio could do. Like he was trying to rush in, but just he couldn't manage the distance. Ulrich is really tall, so he just kept him away from him and just picked him apart one on points. I don't feel like it was even close. Next you had Kyler Phillips versus Marcelo Rojo. Phillips threw like 19 spinning heel kicks. 19 spinning heel kicks. He threw so many of them. Just spinning heel kick. What's wrong with my mouth? Spinning heel kick after spinning heel kick. I don't know what was going on with that. But yeah, like Kyler Phillips, man, that dude's good. He beat him up and freaking triangle arm barred him. Excuse me. Just beat him up and try. Let me have a drink of coffee. Maybe that's what it is. Leaving all this shit in. Who needs to edit? This is just a conversation we're having about the fights, right? At some point, if it becomes production and there's that many people watching, then we're worried about, getting my teeth fixed and some editing and protection value here. I've already got ideas. I'm just not going to put that much effort into something until it becomes necessary for growth. Let's say that. That's a little peek inside of my brain. Besides me spewing at you whatever's inside of my brain. Spinning heel kicks, man. He threw so many of them. So then next we had Casey O'Neill versus Roxanne Montefari, and it was like Roxanne Montefari's like retirement fight, man. And like she's just like, she come out looking like she's gonna bring you some cookies. And Casey O'Neill is like this real mean. Her nickname is King, and like she's tough, man. She's from Australia. She I heard about that bullshit. She was screaming in the fuck, ah! Like going Super Saiyan. Montefari, like man, she wasn't even trying to win. She just wanted a war. She got that war. Casey O'Neill beat her the fuck up. But I mean, Montefari had her moments, and she landed some good punches too. Don't get me wrong, she's a crafty vet, and she's like unorthodox, or her punches kind of don't come from where you expect them. And she's like not exactly fast, but she's real precise. You know, it comes from experience. The way Floyd Mayweather is. Like you listen to people talk about his power, it's like hey, he don't have like no power, but when he hits you, you feel it. And like I think that's kind of how she is. Like she don't really have knockout power, and she's not the fastest, and she's not probably not even the most technically sound. But when she hit you, it looked like Casey O'Neill felt it. And then during the post fight interview, Casey O'Neill won. During the post fight interview, Casey O'Neill was like, "You better stop booing me." They booed even louder. She was like, "Stop booing me." I couldn't even hear what else she said. The crowd was like bumping. All right. Next up, we had Jared Vandara versus Andre Arlovsky. Andre Arlovsky, man, like that dude. It's like he's getting better and better with age. His movement is so fluid. Andre just beat him. He beat him, and he won. It was a split decision. I don't think it should have been a split decision, but I feel like Andre just won that fight. And Andre he looks really good. The problem is like I don't think he's good enough to beat the guys at the very, very top, but he's like better than everyone else. You get what I mean? Like he's like one of those top dudes, but he's like a low tier top dude, and the people below him, none of those guys can beat him. But the people above him, I think they can all beat him. So it's like, and he's getting up there, but he's fighting really well, really well. All right, so on to the main card. Starting off, we had Bobby Green versus Nasrat Haqparast. How I say that name right? Nasrat, I didn't. But Bobby Green is my guy, right? Bobby Green is from Fontana, from San Bernardino. It's like we share a border. That's my guy. So I always root for Bobby Green, and Bobby Green is so fun to watch. And when he's on point, and he was on point in this fight, he reminds me of Roy Jones Jr. The way that he moves, his fluidity, like he looks like he's not defending, but he is defending. He's defending with speed like a snake. And I mean, just when Bobby Green is on, it is a like beautiful poetic dance. It's a mastery of combat. I love watching Bobby Green fight when he's on, and he was really on. Apparently Nasrat had a whole bunch of injuries and still came into the fight anyway. But to be quite frank with you, I still think the same outcome would have happened. I just think it would have been a more maybe back and forth affair. But regardless, Bobby Green Bobby Green won by decision, pretty handedly. It's funny, right in the beginning, like Nasrat poked Bobby Green so bad he was bleeding in his eye, and then like he was kind of jawing a little bit about it, and he poked him right back. So it was like, all right. But then Bobby Green was talking so much shit, like you could hear him, like he hit him, or he landed a leg kick, and he said ooh, and then one time he threw like a leg kick and he missed. He just said nope, and then he threw like a leg kick, and Bobby Green just dodged it all together. He just yelled air ball. I don't know. I just thought that shit was funny. In his post-fight interview, Bobby Green just was like, "Thank you to my family. Thank you, Pookie and Kitty Coo." I don't know the nicknames he said, and then he was just like, "And anyone who's ever been left behind or put down or thought bad on, put your middle fingers in the air. It's like fuck all of them," and he just left. I was like, "Damn, Bobby Green, you have tattoos all over your entire head. You are living who you say you are." Like he's that dude. I love Bobby Green. That's my guy. All right, and then next up you had Alex Hernandez versus Renato Moicano. What's crazy is, man, Alex Hernandez seems like he's supposed to be Henry Cejudo, but he loses. I think his biggest issue is patience. And I think almost every time he loses his fights is because he gets to a place where he feels like he's won, but these most recent opponents are the top tier guys because he's too good to be fighting anyone else, and these guys are able to recover and withstand better than anyone he fought before. And so he gets a guy hurt and rushes in and gets knocked out or submitted like it seems like every time, just to me, I really like him. I think he's a really savvy fighter. I like his stand-up game. He's a really good wrestler. I like him, but I don't know. It seems like he just can't get it done. And he was winning. I feel like he was winning. But Moricano, like, he caught him with something and I think it was an elbow, and had him like dazed and beat up, and caught him a couple more times going down, and then just jumped on a rear naked, choked him. And then when he got out, he said, man, his post fight speech was crazy. He just was like, he was saying stuff. Maricano wants money. Give me the money, Dana White. I want that money. It's like, hey man, shoot your shot, bro. And then you had Derek Bronson versus Jared Cannonier, and Derek Bronson just he is very effective. He is one of the best dudes. It looks like he is like lazily throwing punches out and then falling into people. Just, it always looks like he's trying not to drown in a swimming pool. Like, so anyways, at some point, I think he got tired because he stopped trying to take Cannonier down, but he was just trying to do stand up only, and he wasn't trying to shoot anymore. But he was grappling, but he wasn't shooting anymore. And I think it's because he was tired. I think he was too tired and he didn't want to go down there and get messed up. And Cannonier, and one of them, I think Cannonier finally realized how tired he was. And one of them grapples, man, he just, boom! And I mean, Brunson was on, whoop, whoop. But the problem is his movement on, like, Tipsy Street is like very similar to his movement when he's not. But anyways, after that elbow, it was kind of over. He was really messed up. Then he caught him with another elbow, and that other elbow was like the end. Game over. Whew. That elbow was nasty, Cannonier. So I'm guessing Cannonier and his post fight was like, and this is basically a number one contenders match. Basically, Brunson and Cannonier are both on tears. They're both calling for the winner of Izzy versus Whittaker. So this is kind of sort of the problem is Izzy's already beat both of these guys, and I don't know if I want to see either one of them fight. I definitely don't want to see Brunson fight him again. I don't think we will. Not right now, at least. We'll see how long Izzy holds on to the belt, and then like, man, the way that he framed that first elbow, just right here, Brunson. Just lay your head in the palm of my. That shit was wicked. It was wicked. His face, you seen it, he was like, it was messed up. It was messed up. Yeah, he landed like a sweet little back fist too, and he called it out in his post. He was like, it wasn't just the elbow, it was also that sweet backhand. Cannonier. He showed like more personality in this post-fight speech than I've ever seen from him, but I loved it. I think it's because he's from Dallas and they was in Texas. His family was there and shit. He was like, Dana, look at me. I'm next. I like that shit. We had Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. Man, I love Tai Tuivasa, right? But I don't want him to win because I don't like that shoey shit. It is the worst. Don't drink athlete's feet. Athlete's feet. That's the plural. But anyway, so that fight, man, like, first of all, Tai Tuivasa walks out to Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper, which is awesome. The crowd, when Derek Lewis came out, was so loud. You couldn't even hear DC. DC was talking, but he just, but all I could hear was the crowd. They showed these two gross looking fans taking a shoey out of the grossest looking pair of New Balances. I don't like that shoey shit. I get it. And I'm actually like, I'm mad cool with it. Do it, man. It's fucking dope. People love it. I just don't want to see it because then I have to I think I have a lot of empathy. And so when I see someone drink that shit, I can imagine the vomit that I'm going to have if I have to drink someone else's athlete's foot. It's fucking gross. It's gross. I get it. I'm not even saying don't do it. I kind of like that he does it. The fans love it. The security hates it. As he was getting ushered out, he asked him to do, hey man, come on, let me do at least one more shoey. And the guy was like, okay, but over there. So that last little exchange, first of all, Derek Lewis got him on the ground at some point and hit him like, wow, 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 wow. I was like, oh, it's over because he just broke his skull open, right? But no, Tai Tuivasa is tough. You want to talk about fucking tough? I don't think I've ever seen anyone get hit that many times by Derek Lewis. Period. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get hit that many times by him. In the face too. And Tai Tuivasa just rolled and Tai Tuivasa was fucked up. Like he was Tai Tuivasa was messed up, but he just was in it. And like in that last exchange, you watch it in slow motion, there's a point where Derek Lewis hits him, and it's almost like you see he has like a kind of a, and he hits him, and then I think Ty hits Derek Lewis, and you can, he almost smell like, and it's in the chaos of that exchange. That Tai Tuivasa, man, Tuivasa, I'm saying his name right? Probably not. I like him though, man. I never seen anybody get hit that many times by Derek Lewis. That's it. Like, this shit's crazy. And of course, he did shoes. The first shoey though was in some fly, looked like brand new shoes made for shoeys, right? That one didn't gross me out as much as the New Balance with the two dudes with the mullets. I don't know if they had mullets, but it just seems like in my memory they just was, you know. Anyway, so Robert Whittaker versus Israel Adesanya part 2. Robert Whittaker's walkout was much more refrained and less emotional than the first time. He still was beating his chest way more than I feel like he should be, but, you know, that's his thing. And then Izzy's music came on, and the lights was all dim, and it was like 15 minutes before you seen him. So I'm like, oh, he's not gonna dance again, is he? And I don't mean Izzy, I mean is he. And I don't even mean like, oh, you can't dance anymore, don't dance. I just mean like, I don't know if that was the appropriate time to have a dance battle right before a championship fight. I just don't know if that was the appropriate moment for that, right? It's just my opinion, right? I would do things a little bit more professionally. I just think I think it was inappropriate before your fight to do that. Maybe after the fight, maybe at like an event for that specifically, or like at the presser or something. I don't know. That's just my opinion, right? You do whatever you want to do. It went successful and he won the fight, so it's all history now, right? So anyways, it was taking forever to walk in. I'm like, oh, there's another routine or something about to happen. But no, just for some reason, instead of him just walking out of the locker room in there, it seemed like he was walking from outside the arena. Like, you know, they show you the shots when they arrive at the arena. Like, it seemed like he was walking from there. So his walkout was like 72 seconds, right? So first, it took like a minute and a half before they even showed him. And then his walkout was like 3 minutes long. Anyway, I don't know. I just thought it was really weird how long his walkout was. And there was no performance to it. He just walked out, shook his people's hands, got in the ring. Crypto.com all over the ring. Don't forget that shit. Yeah, Izzy walked in from like down the block. The fight kind of went the way I expected it to go. Izzy technically was more sound. Rob was much better. I think he's the second best fighter in middleweight, period. Too bad Izzy's there. Oh man, Izzy really beat up Rob's like midsection. He had some nasty bruising in his leg. Ugh, gross stuff. Izzy was grabbing his right hand and he kind of stopped throwing it, but after the fight they asked him about it and he said his hand was fine, so I don't know. So I'm guessing Izzy Cannonier next. Israel retained his belt by decision. Some people think Rob won. Rob said he thought he did enough to win. I think Izzy won. I think it was close. I think Rob was way better than last time, and not just because he got knocked out, but just period. He just fought a much better fight. But I felt like Izzy controlled the action. Izzy was the aggressor. And Izzy is not even an aggressive dude like that, but I feel like he was controlling the action. I don't feel like Rob got any takedowns that were like significant. Anytime Izzy was in trouble, he immediately got out of it. But it is what it is. Pretty sure to be Izzy versus Cannonier next. I think Izzy wins that one pretty easily. I think Cannonier is tough and he can beat Izzy, sure. But I just don't think Izzy's gonna let him hit him. And I think the things that Cannonier's good at, Izzy is better at. We'll see. I'm I don't make predictions like that. It is what it is. But just based on Cannonier's performance versus Brunson and Izzy returning his belt, that's probably what's up next for Izzy in middleweight. Um, but yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a good event. I wish Derek Lewis would have won because he was at home. But like, you gotta love Tai Tuivasa. You gotta love that cat. He's fucking dope. That motherfucker tough, man. He was in there with Derek Lewis, smirk on his face during the heavy exchange. Like you can see it in the slow mo. Like and he's like wobbly, like what? But he's got this little like he loves it. I just wish he didn't drink beers out of people's shoes after the fight. All right, I say if you made it this far, man, I love you. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends and shit if they like UFC. If they don't like UFC, tell them anyway. They might just enjoy my banter. Bye.